The Action Shooting Show. Tonight we have our friend Tiger. We have Mark Rebke and myself. Mike Ford may jump in a little bit later. It's hopefully he does. It's been a while since all four of us have been on here. So this episode is going to be a little bit different. Instead of like an after action, this is a pre-action. Uh, we'll be talking about the Run for Your Life zombie running gun that Tiger puts on, the match he puts on, and that is coming up here in November. And it's the first weekend in November. Yeah, so yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about. I have shot this. I shot the last one. Mark shot the last one. Obviously, Tiger was there because he put it on. Before that, I shot the last one that was at Rock Castle. Mark was also there. Mike was at all these. Unfortunately, I'm not making it to Zombie this year, which I'm really bummed about. There's just like the perfect storm of too many things going on in life and being an adult. So I'm gonna miss out, but we're gonna talk about it here and hopefully get some interest and give some people that are coming the idea of what they're in for. So real quick, Tiger, do you kind of want to explain like the idea behind Zombie, match flavor, all that stuff?
Yeah. So um, Zombie started 2018, and we kind of struck on this theme of course everybody loves shooting zombies, right? Like I've said it before, they're the world's most popular enemies because they're easy to hate, right? Like the only enemy that is maybe more popular than that is Nazis, and the one year we shot at Nazi zombies, so yeah,
Russians. It's 80s movies
Rush.
taught me it's always the Russians.
Yes, the Russians, right. Um, but we kind of figured out that at the time, we had Heartbreak in February, which is really just how much can we make people suffer and they still pay us to come do this. Um, and then at the time we had the March match, which was great. It was just a great basic match format. We had Legion, which kind of had taken over where I had intended to go with my match, which was like a military history, kind of honoring vets thing. But we really didn't have anything that was just for fun, right? Like it was just a fun kind of, and zombies are silly, right? And we shoot at Sasquatches, and we have wizards and hobbits and gnomes and golems and all the weird shit. And so that's kind of the theme is the official theme is that the supernatural is real. That's the Second Amendment shit hits the fan event, is something is happening with the supernatural that's making them attack people. The actual theme that we kind of go for is a lot of fun and really fundamental sound shooting, a lot less on the physical side. Like, don't get me wrong, our course is hard. We have some good sized hills, but we don't do a lot of obstacles. We don't do buddy drags or fireman carries or Turkish get ups or any of that, kind of CrossFit tactical game style stuff. But what we will have is some really small targets that are a little further away than other running guns. So that's kind of where Zombie has landed in the grand scheme of running gun.
Tiger, why don't you just come out and be clear about what's really going on here? You're a D&D dungeon master, and you just want to put that into a LARP situation where people would walk around with guns, and you could just play that game with the magical D20 in your own mind. And that's what this really is about.
Guilty as charged. Actually, it's funny. We've tried a couple of times to figure out a way to incorporate a D20 roll into the match. Like, you roll a D20, however many however whatever you roll is how many targets you have to hit or whatever. But we just haven't gotten to quite that level of nerdiness yet. I say yet because it might happen eventually.
Do I out myself but get some bonus points for coming with Magic the Gathering cards?
Yeah.
Asking for a friend,
Yeah, right.
hypothetically.
I was a Magic player. I still DM. Actually, Mark is not lying. I'm still a dungeon master. Um, I I don't know. It's more popular now. I don't even feel like it's right because people don't make fun of me for it anymore.
Yeah, that. All right. Yeah, I think that's a great. That's been my experience with the two that I have done. One big thing that Tiger is leaving out is that this is, for the most part, it's a team match. Actually,
Yeah.
this time it's completely teams, right?
Only
There's
teams.
no
There is
individual. Yeah.
no individual run.
So I think that's an important thing. If you have never shot a team match, I think every time we talk about team matches, I go on about this. They're some of my favorite matches.
Yeah.
They really are. I love shooting matches by myself. Running guns by myself are fun. But when you get to shoot with a teammate and you guys get to work together, and maybe they get to, take this stage because this is kind of their, or this part of the stage because this is kind of my this is my strength. Okay, cool. I'll take this because it's my strength. You really get to feed off of each other, and it makes for a fun time. Working together. That's what Tigers. The 2019 running or zombie was individual. The 2020, the first one out at Lucas Oil, was a team match. Me and my wife did it. We had a blast. Actually, me and my wife did it on RO day, and then a friend of mine's partner on the Saturday match got sick. He got like a sinus infection, and his face was huge. So I got to do it twice that weekend, and me and him had a blast. I mean, it was great. So I think that's one of the cool things. Mark, do you want to kind of talk about? Let's maybe do this now. Talk about the fun, because you've been training a lot with your wife to do this. Because 2020, you wanted to beat me and Mary, which did not happen. We curb stomped you guys, and you were wanting redemption this time, and we're kind of like not even giving you that opportunity, which is really kind of sad.
Well, I don't know if I explicitly said that I wanted to beat you. I mean, obviously, in my heart of hearts,
No, we
I
we, we
wanted to
knew
beat
that.
you.
Yeah.
I wanted to beat you, but you have a huge leg up on me with Mary and her three gun, girl and a gun, all that shooting history, and it was more like, honey, we're doing this thing. We got to beat the Dixons. And she's like, I shoot pistol once in a while. I don't, what is a rifle? I was like, it'll be fine. We're just going to go 6 miles. Don't worry about it. And
It's just
so we kind of had that sort of experience, like, don't worry about how to shoot a rifle. We're going to walk 6 miles. And it was in 2020. It was like the heart of COVID. And I know that me personally had gained my COVID-10. And so I sucked hind tit running, walking the 6 miles, and the shooting could have been better. There was we left a lot of performance on the table. And so for to be clear for everyone else, there was no match in 2021. We had an off year. And so in this last year, my wife and I have actually been training. I can't say like SEAL training, high level training, but we've done a lot of dry fire. We've done some hikes together. We've worked on some rifle shooting. And just that, I've told Tiger this how many times, but just the process, like Ryan's been saying, working with a partner, having somebody that's going to push you, having somebody, hey, it's dry fire night, we got to get this in, let's do our reps. And that stuff is totally worth the price of admission for me. Like getting, like, all right, honey, this is one of the things that we run into in 3-gun and run and gun. It's called eye box, like how close your face is to the scope. People have struggled with all this time. So we're going to practice this. And now she learns the skill and we practice it. And it's been a really fun process getting ready for this match. I'm not saying that I'm at peak physical condition, because I'm not. And I'm not saying I'm at peak shooting condition, because I'm not. But just the process has been really fun. And so to me, that's the biggest benefit of this match is the process.
Yeah, and that's that's an interesting thing because I talk to a lot of match directors about what we want to get out of our individual matches. I talk to Stennett, I talk to Ellis, I talk to the Heartbreak guys, and we all kind of have this feeling that regardless of how well or poorly people do on our stages, like you've trained, right? Like you're a better maybe not better than when you were shooting 3-gun all the time, but you're better than you were a year ago, right? Because you've done some consistent training, you know, and that's really what it's all about is keeping people, keeping the skill sharp. Like a running gun should just be a test of the training that you've done, or another training event for you. Like, oh, okay, we're actually going to put everything on a timer now, or whatever. So like hearing you tell me that, and I've told you this every time, like that makes me happy that somebody is doing that because of my match, right? Like Jerry Long has talked about the plate rack stage. Like he shot the plate rack stage 2017 and bombed it. And it completely changed the way that he trained pistol. Like he runs a 2-gun match at his local range or whatever. And he's like, that plate rack shows up almost every month because I hate it so much. And he was like, but now I'm good at it because I've shot thousands of plate racks in the last 5 years now. So that, that's kind of what it's all about, is getting people out there, getting them to train. And the fact that you're doing it as a family is even better,
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about team matches is that you can be two really good shooters, and if you don't work together, it's hard to perform well. And so even if Mark and his wife never have to use these combined shooting skills, their communication is going to be better. When you're doing things like this, that's a little more dynamic and you've got gunfire going off, it's loud and it's, I'll say a little higher stress because things are happening and you got to be careful with gun. That brings your communication and your working together a little bit higher. So that's a great thing. I mean, that's what I like about kind of run and gun. There's a lot of these things, maybe we don't need to use them directly in our day-to-day lives, but the getting healthier, the getting, the different obstacles and challenges they throw really do have some kind of real world challenges. Yeah, I don't have to do a dummy drag regularly, but every once in a while I do have to drag a 60-pound bag of mulch from one part of the yard to another, or something's going on and it's loud and me and my wife have to be able to communicate and get something done and not get stressed out at each other. And there's just a lot of that kind of things that transfer over. So that is a really cool thing about this match, is that teamwork aspect of it. So I think we've kind of alluded, it's a 10K, and any air quotes always 10K, because the match directors are kind of tied to where they can safely shoot guns and start and finish. So a 10K may be 6 miles and maybe 8 miles. It just kind of ends up.
This one's pretty close. I think, obviously I haven't done it like with a GPS yet. But on Google Maps, it clocks at like 6.3 or 6.4 miles. So I'm closer than I have been in the past. But Google Maps has lied to me before, so we'll see. It's going to be less than 7. I can almost guarantee, as long as you don't get lost.
As long as you don't get lost. Like if someone missed a turn because the match director hadn't marked that part of the course yet when they were running on RO day and walked extra distance.
You walked an extra 200 yards. It was fine.
And if I would have lost to Mark, that would have been my excuse too.
Yes, it would have. I was just giving you the opportunity.
Yeah. All right. So about 10K, about 6 miles. How many stages is this match going to have?
8 stages.
8. I like when there's a stage per mile or less. Like that's fun. Sometimes you get big gaps between it. You may go 2 miles and then you get a couple next to each other. But
right.
if it's anywhere close to 2020, I thought the spacing was pretty good.
Yeah. This year, my stage 6 and 7 are like really close together. They're like within, it's between a quarter and a half mile from stage 6 to stage 7. And they're actually using kind of the same backstop. Like you're kind of shooting into the same area, just with different, from different angles. So it's, but other than that, it's I think my longest stretch is like 1.5 miles, maybe. So
But
That's
this
not
goes
bad,
back
yeah.
to one of the early things on one of the first run and guns, or it wouldn't have been the first, but one of the early run and guns I did. I was talking to somebody and we said, "Boy, I'd like to do more gun and run than just run and gun." It's like, yeah, it's fun to do 5K. Well, it's not really fun to do 5K, but like, can we have a little more shooting here? And so it's not just running. And so I think that's having 8 over 6 miles. That's kind of a pretty good sweet spot, or maybe not a sweet spot, but we're definitely crossing the minimum of what anybody would
Yeah, I
enjoy.
had one of my buddies, Drossert there. He's like, we should have 10. We should have a stage every K. And I was like, find me 75 ROs. Like, sure, okay. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Guardians, they've got what, 6 stages, 6 or 7 for a 5K
Yeah.
there. That was
Yeah.
that was a lot of shooting for
And
the
and
distance.
if you shorten the distance, you can do that, right? Like a 5K with 5 stages. That's what the 22 match is this year. I've got 5K, 5 stages. You start getting up into 10Ks where it's, maybe more like 12 and you want to stage every K. It's like, oh my God, how am I going to staff it?
Yep. Yep, that's a good call out to RO, you guys. It's fun. Usually gets you a free match, and you get to drink bourbon with all the other ROs between the match day. Shooting, and I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, ROing is the only way to go.
Yep. All right, so we got that last thing that I kind of wanted to hit on before we kind of move on a little bit is you do have a costume contest every year.
Yeah, so it's Halloween, again, it's all about having fun, having a good time. I kind of threw this in 2018, the first zombie year, as kind of a joke. I was like, hey, everybody dress up as something. I'll give the best costume something. Like I didn't really know what I was going to give them even. And the Trumbles showed up, and Melanie was dressed as Jessie from Toy Story. And for those of you who know Melanie Trimble, she's basically Jessie from Toy Story. She did the whole thing in jeans and boots and the whole 9 yards. So she won the costume contest. But there was only like 5 people who had dressed up. Like, it really didn't get much of a turnout. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to show these people. So I let her walk my prize table first. And like it was pure spite because I was pissed off that more people hadn't dressed up. Now that I've done that every year, the costume contest winner gets to walk my prize table first. Now we're getting people who are showing up in full. We had Mario and Luigi last year. We had the guys from Heat. We had a Kill Bill, Lone Survivor type. I don't even know what was going on there. Like,
yeah, I remember Nick Hansen had like a really good
Ghostbusters,
the pack, and R-Road. That's what I was impressed with. He shot the match in that. He R-Road the whole weekend with the pack. I mean, that was a great.
I'm fairly certain those coveralls could stand up on their own by the end of the weekend, but
probably, yeah. The Matt Stinnett and Ellis were like Heat to perfect. I mean, guns and everything.
They sacrificed match performance to keep everything iron-sided, fold up under the.
They had a briefcase the whole time, right?
They carried a duffel bag full
or
of
duffel bag,
money.
Yeah,
like 25 or 30 pounds extra, and it was great, and like I said, and then Jack Boone and Morgan Elder, they came as Mario and Luigi, and they played theme music the whole course. Like, they had a Bluetooth speaker with the theme music the whole. It's a really good time. This year I've seen some suggestions, and it's going to be a good time.
I've seen Nick Hansen's. He's bringing it again, so he's got a pretty good one.
I know Wes Bennett and Dave Behrens have a good joke costume if you're in the run and gun community. I don't know how well it's going to transfer out, but
I can imagine.
So,
all right, well, there you go. So divisions. Let's talk a little bit about that, because your divisions are a little bit different than some other matches.
Yeah, so I've actually got them listed on the registration this year is categories, because that's technically more of what they are. And divisions on practice score acts a little funny sometimes. So basically everyone runs open. Like if open is whoever wins open is top finisher overall, right? That's you win, you run whatever you want, you carry whatever you want, however you want to do it. I have the Jack and Jill Award, which is at least one female team member. That's what Mark and Kayla are going to do. It's what you and Mary did. I've got to admit, I did that initially trying to get more female participation. Because like before I put that award in 2020, I think the most females that had ever showed up to a match before that was like six or seven at a time, right? This year, I've got 21 females signed up to shoot. Some all female teams.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier with that. Actually, I was looking at it. 4 of my lead ROs are females this year. So that's great. And it's going the way that it should. Actually, I've got like hardcore female shooters who are now bringing their husbands to shoot instead of the other way around. Like they're like, this is great. He can hike with me and like Sherpa all my guns. And I'm like, go for it. And then I always do what I call a special division, for those special people. Last year or 2020, it was the lone survivor. That was the singles division. This year we're doing what we call the unprepared division. And unprepared is you carry a single rifle and a single pistol for the team. So instead of 2 rifles, 2 pistols or more, it's 1 and 1. Obviously, if a stage only calls for a rifle pistol, then one person shoots pistol, the other person shoots rifle. That's how it works out. If a stage calls for 2 rifles, then there will be a stage gun there with a random amount of ammo. It's not random. I have it picked, but you don't know it ahead of time. And you have to adapt to the stage gun, right? And some of the stage guns are really, really just primo for their stage, and then others are just really not. So, but you should also move faster because you should be carrying less gear, right? So it's kind of a balancing act. It's a way to get people to shoot all the weird guns that I like to shoot. So,
all right, yeah. So, unprepared sounds interesting. So I would say if you're adventurous, that'd be the division you should go for.
Well, it's cheaper too because you're shooting less of your own ammo.
Ammo is a little more available now, but it's not any cheaper, so that's maybe not a bad thing. All right, so Mark, I guess do you have anything to add to this before we kind of go on to the next thing? Okay. Next thing I want to talk about. So since this is a little bit different, and we're kind of talking about a match before it's happened, I kind of wanted to go over maybe some skills you may need, gear, anything like that maybe if you're listening to this and you're planning on going to Zombie or you're kind of on the fence about it, like what are some things that you would need to know? I will say, knowing from shooting before Tiger goes, shooting his match before, rifle skills, I would know your zero. I would have a really good zero, like understand it. And as he kind of said earlier, the targets are sometimes a little further away and sometimes they're a little bit smaller. As an example, I know in 2020, and I got a little bit lucky here because I ended up shooting somebody else's ammo. I didn't have enough ammo that second day I shot with Niles. And so I was shooting borrowed ammo. So actually the first stage I shot rifle on, I had to adjust my zero on my rifle by like a mil or something like that on my scope. Like I was shooting I knew it was about 7,500 yards. I was shooting some kind of lighter loads. These were a little hotter. And I figured out how much I had to hold off to get a hit, dialed, and then had to shoot the rest of the match just holding off like that. And he had a stage that your partner picked, and I don't know exactly, you picked like a number or something, and it decided what target you had to shoot. Yeah. So I was on this like tiny wobble platform, not enough to go. I didn't feel like I could go prone on it. So I actually
No,
was
you couldn't.
seated. Yeah, I was seated with like a book bag, and I had to shoot a 1 inch. Was it 1 inch target or 2 inch?
A
2 inch target at 150 yards from this wobble platform. Kind of curled up as a ball, and I made the hit. As if I remember, I was the only person all weekend to get that 2 inch target at like 150 or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was a cool stage because it was an 8.42 at 100, 150, and 200. And of course, my dumb ass, I picked the 2 inch at 200, and there's no way. Like Sean Murphy couldn't have hit that shot.
Yeah. Well, and the 2 inch at 150 was not a.
Right.
I mean, and the thing, if you've ever shot rifle on a wobble platform, the more you miss, the more the thing starts rocking like a boat. So
Yeah.
you really have to plan your shots, and really get your hits. But 2 inch target at 150, if you've not shot that, you would think, oh, well, that should be really easy. I mean, it's what? It's almost, that's more than 2 MOA, right? But in
Yeah.
reality, if you don't have a good zero, and then you start wobbling around and you're not as steady because you're not it. Yeah, you having a good zero and being confident with your rifle work is would be the first thing I would recommend. Tiger, what do you think? Maybe some skills.
Let's hear what Mark has to say. Before I go off, Mark, what do you got?
So I'm going based on what I see on Instagram as the stage descriptions and what I've been practicing and what I know from shooting all of Tiger's matches is rifle skills like Ryan said is key. You got to have that because Tiger's matches, unless you get into like sniper challenge or those big really precision matches, no one shoots as far as Tiger does. I don't think any run and gun goes out past 700.
I think the one extreme marksmanship that Turk runs in Texas, it does, but I think that's more geared towards a PRS style match.
Right. So specifically, the first year, I only had, well, I didn't only have, but I only felt comfortable bringing AR-15s in 223, and that is asking way too much of a 5.56 bullet to go past. I'd argue past 400, but past 500 or 600, 700, we're asking too much of that round. And so you're much better served with the 6.5 Grendel, 6 Arc, 6.5 Creedmoor if you want to go large frame, 308, whatever. That year, 2 years ago, I didn't have that and I didn't want to carry that. This year, I'm purposely bringing a bolt action 6.5 Creedmoor because I know there's going to be stuff that needs that kind of shooting. And then I'll also have an AR. And I don't know if we haven't mentioned it yet, but there's no rules about switching guns between partners. So my wife can carry the AR-15. I can carry my heavy boat anchor bolt action, and as needed, we can swap back and forth. And so I'm planning to shoot far. I'm bringing the gun to shoot far. And we'll maybe talk about training more, but I've practiced out to 700 with that bolt action, which is all of these things are unique to this year. And we talked about getting ready for this year. All three these things are things I'm doing for this year that I haven't done for any previous match. So those things hopefully will pay off for me. We'll see. You never know, right? And then for pistol, I would say Tiger's matches are not hose fests. They're not see how fast you can double tap paper, or there'll be an array where you just blast through. Most of pistol is shoot precisely with pistol as quickly as you can. And so it'll be lots of steel, but just one good hit on every piece of steel, or 2 good hits on a spinner. And so one of the things we'll maybe talk about is one of the stages, the plate racks, like Tiger said. You have to hit a clean plate rack for both partners. And so my wife and I went to my gun range that has 2 plate racks, and we stood next to each other and shot these 2 plate racks together. And we learned things, going back to what Ryan was talking about, communicating, understanding how you work together. My wife, no fault to her, gets a little flinchy when somebody else is blasting with a pistol and a steel. And so we kind of found that if I just run the plate rack, then she can shoot her plate rack and not be flinchy and not be worried about those things. And so we do a lot better on that than both of us trying to shoot it as quickly as possible. And so I'd say those are the two biggest things, having the right equipment, knowing that you're going to shoot precise rifle, and then don't plan on hosing with the pistol, plan on being accurate with the pistol, are the takeaways that I've kind of had just reading Instagram and knowing based on Tiger's previous matches. I can't say that this is going to be right and this is clearly what's going to get me the first place finish, but that's kind of my read of it. That's the way I'm going into this match.
Yeah, and if that, I don't know if you kind of explained it, like in the past, Tiger's had, so we say shoot a plate rack. He's meaning you shoot 1 for 1 the entire plate rack, and if you miss a shot, you start over. And in this case, you and your partner need to shoot 1 for 1 without missing a shot. So, like in this case, if either of you miss a shot, plate rack gets set up and you start over. And it sounds easy, and we're 7, 10, 12 yards. It's not like this is any crazy distance, but I mean, I can shoot a clean plate rack, but when you really make it have to be, it's really easy to get into your head and almost focus too much. I know 2020, when me and my wife did it, I shot clean just first time up, so I was really happy with that. With me and Niles, he shot first and missed. I hit low on the very last plate. Like we're talking, hit the metal, the plate kind of wiggles, but just that much too low, And then Niles went and missed, and then I had to, I shot it clean the second time I tried. But it is really, I mean, it sounds easy, and it should be, but man, when everything's going on and you're rushing, and that's a challenge. So I guess what are some other things maybe we've missed, Tiger?
Wait, let's make fun of Mike. Wait, let's make fun of Mike while he's not here. On 2019, you had to shoot a plate rack, and Mike thought that you had to shoot it one-handed. And so we all ran the plate rack in, no time. And Mike is
No. I didn't. I failed out on that because I suck. I suck even worse with pistol then. And I was trying two-handed. It did just, yeah. So I won't throw Mike completely under the bus. But yeah, he thought it was one-handed, and
right. Well, to be fair to Mike though too, Mike's a great pistol shooter. So Mike should have just smoked that stage, and he's one-handing it, trying to do his best, and it was not a stage to do one-handed, like you said. It was hard enough with two hands.
Yeah, because 2019, if you missed while they reset it, you had to run around this barrel and then run back.
Yeah.
And then do it again. So the more you miss, that was my problem. Once I missed that first one, and you go run and you come back, and I think you had just come up. Was that right up over the power line cut? A little bit after the power line cut?
So you came up Legion Hill, the power line cut hill, and then you went over a wall, and then you had your draw. Then you had your draw and fire stage. Ryan's still mad at me about that wall placement.
Oh, no. I crushed the wall, and actually I had like the second or third fastest time on the draw and shoot. I crushed those two. But that was a dick move. I mean, this rock hill sucked. And you're all burnt out. Then there's just the wall. Like, here we go. Might as well climb over it.
Just casual right there,
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it was like, like a quarter mile past the draw and shoot stage it was the last stage, or no, it wasn't the last stage. It was the second to last stage was the plate rack. And then you had to go down Doe Valley Hill and come back up to finish, right? Like the last mile.
Which is also a dick move. Because coming up from Doe. Yeah. If you've been to Rock Castle, you know where Doe Valley is. So going down that and then coming back up sucks. Like, it does.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what all did we maybe what's some things that we forgot that you think people would maybe be good to practice for shooting your matches?
So you guys touched on it really well. Pistol tends to be precision pistol. even my blaster pistol stage where I have 25 targets out there, they're 4-inch plates. Like they're not, they're not gigantic steel plates. They're only, and you're going to shoot them from 5 yards out to 25 yards. So that's kind of the deal there. Rifle, knowing your zero, understanding it. That's the big word. You said it earlier. Know why you have that zero and what you're doing. Because we've talked about it a lot. We talk all the time. The intermediate, everyone focuses on that long range stage out to 900 yards. They're like, oh, I need to train for that. I've got 4 stage, like I've got pretty well all my rifle stages except for one going to 200 plus. I'm going 200, 300, 400. Like that intermediate distance is really important this year. And I call it intermediate. It's a long range stage at literally any other match, right? Except at Zombie, it's not. Like that's the medium distance stage. I actually just got the targets tonight for the Konami code. The key to that stage is shooting the pistol correctly, shooting the correct order, because those zombies are skinnier than I thought they were going to be. So we may actually dial that one in a little bit. But yeah, knowing your zero, knowing your dope, knowing your wind call. It gets windy in Missouri. Being able to make a good wind call, being able to slow down and make your hits with pistol, but not focusing so much that you're actually getting in your own way, and being able to communicate with your partner. I've got the double stage where you both have to make a double tap on each target. If I make a double tap here, I should be switching targets while you're hitting it, but also keeping an eye, because if you miss, I need to be able to spot for you, right? Like being able to communicate, hey, you're high, hey, you're low, hey, that's a big part of Zombie, and that's where people like you guys who have trained with your spouses or even with your partners versus people like, Mike Ford and John Hutt, they won the damn thing, but they never shoot together. So this year it might not go their way. It might go to a team, that is close to their skill level, but communicates a lot better, is able to have practice together, know each other's guns, know what the problems are. But yeah, it's really a hits count match. I mean, you can do accuracy by volume on a lot of the stages, you really can, but it's you're going to go a lot faster if you know where your bullets are going. And on the long range stage, and I made the post about this after I had posted the actual description. You start at 900. If you rely on walking your shots out whenever you shoot long range, you maybe want to try doing the opposite over the next couple of weeks. Try shooting out first and then coming back. And then we come back to 10 yards with a throom target, and everyone's going to love me for that. So
everyone loves the throoms.
Right. I wanted to comment on the Konami code because I'm an old school Contra player, so I know this thing by heart. But our plan, we've talking about plans and everything. My wife's going to shoot the pistol on that one, and I'm going to shoot the rifle. And
Right.
so she doesn't know the code. And so I explained the code to her, and my children love it. They memorize this like that, And so now every time I'm like, all right, let's practice the code, they just look in like, is mom going to get it right? Is she going to get it wrong? And as soon as she says the wrong thing, they're like, Mom, come on. No, it's up, down, down. You gotta, like, so that part too, it's just all, like I said before, the getting ready for this match has been the most fun of any match in those,
that's
just
perfect.
those little things like that.
And I caught some crap about the code. They're like, well, it's a memory game and this and that and the other. And I was like, it's 11 button presses. Like it's 11 things you have to remember. I've seen which you guys are 3-gunners. So an 11 shot array is nothing, right? Like I've seen 3-gunners candy cane 35 shotgun rounds, like 11 is nothing. I'm like, and I told one guy, I was like, it's literally 1 digit more than a phone number. Like it's really not that hard to memorize. I said, the problem is we've all gotten so used to these that we don't have to remember anything anymore. So yes, you can either remember the code, memorize it, or you can flip a tire and get the code. Like, that's fine. You know, do the extra hard work. I don't care.
Just put it on my arm board and call it a day.
Yeah, right on your pants leg. Like, I don't care what you do,
Yeah.
right? Like, put it in your phone. Sit there and do this if you want. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, that I mean, yeah, if people are gonna complain about something at a match,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
like
that's just I know people. I haven't played this video game. Well, you know what? I've never played that, and I still know the contra. Like it's a part of pop culture. I grew
yeah.
up in the late '80s, early '90s. It's a part of pop culture. Even if I've never played the video game,
Well,
I'm still
even
very familiar with it.
even so much that it made it into what was that? Wreck-It Ralph. It was the safe code for Wreck-It Ralph in the movie. Like, that was the code
Yeah.
that they put in to get into the safe. And I was like, oh, it's the Konami code. And my wife turns and looks at me and she's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, that's the code.
Yeah. But like honestly, it could just be a random series of numbers that you're
Yeah.
giving them. Like you're giving people ahead of time saying, "Hey, this isn't a match. This is important. Have this." I mean, just write it down. It's like I
Yeah.
said, put on your pant leg, your back of your hand. Like it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to do a
It's not.
calculus equation.
Well, the biggest thing though
Oh.
is you're giving it to us ahead of time. Everyone can sit and memorize it. We've had months to memorize it. If no offense to Matt Stinnett, because I love his matches and love him. How many years ago at Legion, you're in the back of a cave and you
Yeah.
just shot a stage, you're soaking wet, like, all right, there was a picture frame on a ledge of the cave that had a series of numbers on it. And you should have been looking around the cave and write down that series of numbers. And now you get to a stage and they're like, okay, shoot these in the right order. It's like, okay, 1, nope, that wasn't right. 4, nope, that wasn't right. Like, okay, I'll just take the 0. Like, you're
Yeah.
giving everybody the chance to get it right. You're not leaving it up to chance. You're not leaving it up to, oh, you didn't see that tree with the red leaves? The red leaves were the whole secret to this thing. It's like, okay, yes. Like you can only complain this much if you can't memorize up, up, down, down. Like, come on, my kids, like I said, my kids learned it immediately. And so it's fair, I think. It's as fair as you can do putting in a code.
Right.
It's not the CSGO bomb defuse code, those series of numbers. Like, you're not asking too much of anybody. So
Yeah, that is true. All right, so let's go on here. So we kind of talked about some skills, gear. I would say generally your run and gun gear, what you would normally use at like an action shooting match would work. Sounds like if you can, a more precision rifle in this match is usually a good idea. I mean, 2020, I shot it all with an 18-inch AR. I wasn't as successful in the long range, but that was more my range estimation than my guns ability. I mean, a good AR, you can still get out to 600 or 700. If there's like a shot at 900, my ammo, even in 18-inch, is probably gone subsonic. So, but not making contact on a plate is not gonna skunk your whole match.
Right.
Yeah, what else? Is there anything else maybe they want to consider bringing or
So yeah, I tell people just run what you have. I do tell people though that it's a team match, right? And that's another part of my design is one guy should not be fully responsible for everything. If you want one guy to shoot the short range blaster stuff and the other dude to shoot the precision stuff, maybe he runs an arc, maybe he runs a Grendel, maybe he just runs a 20-inch 5.56. Like, I had a dude make the 850. Well, it was 850 in 2020. Make the 850 shot with a 16-inch barreled AR-15 shooting Wolf gold ammo, steel case Wolf gold ammo. Like that, it worked. He hit it, lights went off, hit. Had some people bring bags, like you've mentioned, a book bag makes a good rest. Something like that. maybe. But other than that, red dot on your pistol helps. Everybody at this point, should consider that for a competition gun.
Amen to that.
Like
that turned me into a halfway decent pistol shooter, and that's
yeah, me too. Like
that's
I'm
saying
a
a lot.
pistol shooter with iron sights, but you give me a Koenig rival with a red dot, and I'm like, oh, this plate rack's easy.
It doesn't fix your trigger pull, but it
No.
shows you it's a lot better for showing you a bad trigger pull, which is a little self-correcting in some
Yeah.
ways. So
Yeah. Mark, you said you're bringing a bolt gun this year. Are you bringing any other special equipment?
No, but one of the things that you mentioned, it being a team match, one of the things that we're planning on doing is sharing the bipod between the guns.
Yeah.
And so where it's long range only, put the bipod on the long range gun. Where it's closer stuff, but there's still a position, hint the Humvee, where you maybe are just running the AR, put the bipod on that, and you're on top of the Humvee, you can put the bipod there. So that's kind of our plan as far as sharing gear between the things. And then I'll probably just carry my typical Camelback, which is kind of a small backpack. If you want to use that as a rear bag, you can. But yeah, nothing special beyond what I've already kind of alluded to. So
yeah, I'll say, because Tiger mentioned it, 2020, I brought a backpack and a rear bag, like a just real small, lightweight rear bag, and those two things came in. And I mean, I rested off a backpack on 3 or 4 of the stages. There was like you're shooting off a metal fence, just toss the backpack on the metal fence, rest your rifle on that. Now you don't have hard on hard. Like, top of the Humvee, I did. The long range, you're up on like a elevated platform, and it was like, bag up front, rear bag in the back. I was dialed in there. Oh yeah, the first stage you shot, you're up in this like deer blind.
Yeah.
Backpack there, using a rear bag. I mean, I was as comfortable, I was as stable as I could be with Wes as RO up there. And he was not trying to move around. It was a very rickety deer stand. Wes is
Big
has
dude.
some mass. Yeah, he has some mass to him. Yeah, he's a stout. He's a solid guy. I think that's a good way. I don't want to make it sound like Wes just
No, he's not
he's a
huge,
solid.
but
He's a solid dude. He's broad
Yeah.
shouldered. He's like stout. But like any movement that he was making, even if he's trying to see, the whole thing's freaking shaking around. Actually that wobble platform, first time I'd ever done it, I actually just put the book bag like in the middle of me and kind of curled up, so like the book bag was bracing my center and kind of added some stability. So I brought a book bag to a lot of matches. If I don't think I'm gonna have to run fast, and even if I do move faster, just a Camelback, there's nothing else in it. You don't have to carry a bunch of crap. But having a book bag as a brace or a bag, to roll up has been pretty helpful. So if you're not trying to be some of these guys that are jackrabbits that are like sprinting from beginning to end, the extra weight of a book bag may not be for them. But if you're not that person, like extra pound for a book bag is probably worth the wait.
Yeah, and actually, it's kind of been becoming a thing. I've seen 2 or 3 different people sharing it recently. Those the small bags that strap to your handguard, like not the full rear bag size or anything like that, just a little bit of soft cushion.
Yep.
Like
I'm
honestly,
running one now.
Yeah, like I'm interested in getting one because that's a really, we shoot off of fences, we shoot off of fence posts, we've got hay bales, Humvee
We do.
tops, like all that stuff. He just rolled out on us there. But we've got all that stuff, and that little bit of cushion really can stabilize. Oh, he's gonna get one out to show us. Gotcha. Yeah, one of those. One of those is great. You're muted, Ryan.
Yeah. So show and tell. This is what Tiger is talking about. This company is actually, I think they went under.
Yeah.
So you can only get these on the used market. Having said that, there's at least one or two people in the run and gun community that are designing some prototypes to kind of make something. That was made for like bolt guns, for like PRS shooters. So
Yeah.
while it's nice on an AR, there's maybe some things that aren't as ideal. And I've actually got one of the prototypes coming my way. We'll probably talk
Yeah, I
about it
do
on the
too.
show once I've. Do okay.
Yeah.
So this is one from Scott
I've got one coming from Bosco.
from Bosco. Okay, there's a couple people and I love this thing and want more of them. So like I've talked to Bosco. Me and Bosco talked for like an hour and a half,
Yeah,
and I was
same.
explaining what I really liked about this. And before we even started stitching them up, he was like, "I'm gonna go next day. We're gonna work on." So there's a couple people making them prototypes. I think that it's very handy. It doesn't add a lot of weight, and it kind of keeps that hard on hard from happening.
Right.
So it's just a little bit
It's a
of
slip.
cushion.
Yeah.
And this one's got a kind of anti-skid.
Yeah.
So you just got enough that when you put it on something, it keeps the gun from wanting to slide around. So if you can find something like this, or if a couple of these come on the market here in the future for running gun, for practical shooting,
if you're
hunting.
real redneck, take a couple of rubber bands, fill a sock full of fucking rice, and strap that baby to your rifle.
But yeah, there's really like it's one of those things. The first time I saw it, I was like, well, I need to get one of these because it adds a lot of function and it doesn't like I don't know what the downsides are except for
yeah, I'm the same way. Like
a couple ounces of weight, I guess. I don't know. Like there's thousands of ways to trim weight off of your gun. I could lose the weight in that and be healthier.
Yeah.
You know, like if I'm worried about weight out there on my feet, exactly. The what we drink tonight probably, cut a couple of those out and you're good to go. So something like that would be. We're cut off on a tangent, but that's a good running gun kind of kit to have.
Yeah, that's
to be clear though.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mark. I was going to say, to be clear, that's not make or break. We've done whole episodes on gear. We talk about things like, well, Ryan, where is your cleaning rod on that rifle? So that if you get a little bit of dirt in the end, you can, we could go on huge tangent. It's a cool product. Don't get fixated on that. Like, well, I'm not going to zombie now because I don't have the bag for my thing.
Right.
That's
no, absolutely not. Although I would highly recommend having some kind of cleaning rod or clearing thing. Zombie was the actually both of Tiger Zombie matches I have needed a clearing rod of some sort.
Really?
2019 I was shooting a Savage 99. So for those of you that aren't aware, it is a lever action. It's a lever gun. It's in 308 because it's a rotary magazine, so you can do that. And I was shooting steel cased wolf. For some reason, in 1899, when Savage Engineers designed that gun, they did not design an extractor that would handle steel cased all the time. So like it would shoot fine, but then as the day went on, it just wouldn't eject, and there'd be a shot case, empty case, but it'd be stuck in there. Dave Merriman had to knock it out. The very last stage that I was shooting, which had Nick Hansen and Tim Cox, I was so close I was crushing it, and a case got stuck, and I couldn't get it out in time, and I timed out on that stage. So I know. So that was 2019. 2020, something happened with Niles' pistol. We're not sure what. I think a round, like a bullet may have come out. And then when he racked it out and tried to rack a new one in, it pushed the bullet further into the barrel. And so he couldn't shoot his pistol. And we couldn't find anything. If you've never been on the Lucas Oil Ranch, like we were walking between stages and I was like, this is a big farm. Like we will find something on the ground that that's sturdy enough to knock a round out of a barrel. the Lucas Oil Ranch is the cleanest ranch far. I mean, if you're in the Midwest, like I could walk on my in-laws' farm and find some kind of rusty piece of metal to drive. Not there, and
Yeah.
it's a testament. Those
immaculate.
guys,
Like a
it's
golf course.
immaculate. So we got to the next stage. It was pistol only, and we said, "Hey, can we just share my pistol?" Told them what was going on, and one of was like, "Well, we'd rather take care of this." They found like a big old roofing nail and like their gate or whatever, and just pounded the hell out of that and got the bullet out, with this roofing nail or whatever. So 2 matches, I have started bringing like an aluminum rod, fits in just a little bag. I can put it in my book bag. I can put it in my chest rig. Like and I have not needed it. As long as you have it with you, you will not need it. That's the moral of the story.
Yep. I was being dismissive earlier, but Heartbreak 19, I was laying in the mud with little pieces of stick trying to clean mud out of the muzzle brake of my rifle as I'm crawling through the mud there. And so I do see the need for it. But
I saw, what match was it? What was it? I don't remember what match it was. Oh, it was a local 2-gun match here at Red Brush. And a guy had a bullet come out, like he went to clear his rifle and he was shooting reloads, hadn't crimped, and the bullet stayed in. Of course, powder all over his receiver, all that. Of course, then you got to figure out how to get the bullet out, right? Like, and he didn't have a cleaning rod, and I was like, I don't have one for you, man. Like, you're gonna have to figure it out on your own. He legit took his Camelback, filled his barrel full of water around the bullet, took his muzzle brake off, took another bullet, shoved it into the barrel end of the thing. Well, everyone knows water doesn't compress. It literally popped that bullet right out into his receiver. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Of course, then he had to retime his muzzle brake and do all, do all the other crap. I was like, that was really neat, but I would have probably just changed rifles. Like,
the more you know.
Yeah, like.
What kind of rifle was it? Wait, no, I want to know. This is the most magical thing I've ever heard. I've seen a lot of clearances of things on stages. It couldn't have been an AR because you would have the gas tube, right?
Right. No, it was a bolt gun.
Okay. God, I got to write that down in my journal of weird things I've heard about.
Well, that's like cases getting stuck at Zombie 2020. Dumbest malfunction I've ever seen. Dude messed up a Remington 870. I've never seen it happen before. He got a shell behind the bolt into the. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I had to take the whole gun apart to fix it.
Well, I mean, that's the first time a Remington or a 700 has been ruined that way, but Remington ruined the 700.
Oh yeah,
a long time ago.
Yeah,
that's why people go and buy like an Impact Action or whatever. They don't buy a Remington anymore.
No, actual Remington products are trash now. It's Taurus level tier, meme tiers.
Yeah. All right, so let's kind of start working on wrapping this up. I guess, is there any stage highlights, anything you want to kind of tease or mention? I mean, if you go online on like the Instagram or the Facebook page for this, Tiger's already shared all the stages, like what you're going to be doing. Anything else you want to kind of mention or tease or kind of hype up before we start to close out?
I don't really have anything specific. And I say this every year that I've ran it. I've said it every year. I've got a really, and obviously I'm biased, but I've got a really cool set of stages this year. Like I always try to pick like a favorite. And it always turns out to be like beforehand, I'm like, oh, I'm going to really enjoy the long range stage this year. I'm a long range shooter, so that's what I'm going to like. And it always turns out to be some sleeper stage that turns out to be my favorite, of the year. This year, we're bringing back the Beware of Bathrooms. If you've ever wanted to shoot a short barrel shotgun in 10 gauge now is your chance. Like, maybe your only chance ever. If you do want to shoot that, you're probably as sick and twisted as I am, and you need to come to this match because you will meet your people. And I am looking forward to that. I actually just got in the unprepared stage gun. I'll go ahead and mention that one. It's going to be a 1022. But being me, I came in today, a Desert Tech Trek 22, the bullpup stock. So, the stage gun for that is going to be this weird Halo looking rifle. And you got to figure it out, like you got to figure out where everything is on this gun. But it's going to be a good time. I'm excited for it. As far as stages, I don't know which one I'm most excited for. Probably the Beware of Bathrooms. That's going to be a good stage. That's going to be a really fun. I would double up on Ear Pro if you're going to actually be sitting in the porta shitter, because that 10 gauge is loud. It's very, very loud. So, but it's a good gun. Well, I wouldn't go that far. It's a gun anyway.
It's a gun. Oh.
I built it to be the classic, just point at the door and shoot and clear the doorway. And I can confidently say that you can clear a doorway from 5 feet and not have to aim it. Like it will fill a door with pellets from 5 or 10 feet. So
sounds like my kind of time. All right, so signups. There is still some spots available.
Yeah,
it's on Practice Score. What's the official what should they look for on Practice Score?
I think it's under 2022 Run for Your Life Zombie 10K or 5K. We've got a lot of slots left for the 5K, and we haven't talked about that at all. The 5K is the good time for the weekend. There's no prize table, which some people are going to like, some people are going to hate, whatever. Bring your family, bring your kids, bring your husbands, wives, dogs. I don't care. Like, if you want to train your dog to shoot a 22, let them have at it. Like, and I've told people for years the 22 match is the match to be at, because you're done by noon. You run your run, you get to go home. Like, it's there's a lot of slots left for that. You're not going to have more fun anywhere else for $40. It's a $40 entry fee. Like, and it's a solo run, quote unquote solo. But if you want to run with 12 people, I don't care. Last year we had the Saunders family. They were having more fun than should be legal. They were pantsing each other on stages. They had theme music for each person as they shot the stage. I think Jess's sister had the fastest time on the one stage, which really pissed off Trevor and his buddy or his brother or whoever, because, they're both FBI agents and Green Berets and all this, that, and the other. And she'd never shot a gun before or something. And she was like, "Oh, I just squeezed the trigger really fast."
Well, that's quite the feat, because you say Green Beret, you say FBI agent, and like a lot of people who shoot competition are probably like, "Yeah, I've seen some of those guys shoot."
Yeah.
And no, Trevor Saunders can absolutely just crush a stage. He is impressive. He is an impressive marksman. So
yeah, for sure.
So if she beat him, that's saying a lot, because he's quite the marksman.
It was the 10 rounds as fast as you could squeeze a trigger on a giant target. Like, you climbed up in a Humvee, and she was like, "I just need to squeeze off 10 shots as fast as possible." I said, "Yeah," and hit that steel plate. She goes, "Oh, okay." And she squeezed off 10 rounds in like 2.5 seconds or something like that. She was just laid it down. I was like, "That's awesome."
That is great. All right, so yeah, sign up. It is absolutely, like I said, I'm really regretting not being able to come, because it is just, team matches are so much fun. Me and my wife had such a blast, and I would say that if you've got room left in your match schedule, it's November. There's not a lot of other matches going on. It's not a super high round count. I think per team it's 60 rifle and 80 pistol.
73 rifle is what we decided the other day, right?
Okay.
Mark? Is that what I posted? And then 85 pistol.
But
That's
that's the whole team.
Yeah, that's the whole team,
Right.
but that's assuming shooting it clean. Round counts are deceiving.
That is true, but my point is like that is per whole team. That's like what I would expect to shoot myself at a
Yeah,
match. So even if I
Yeah.
bring that much and my partner brings that much, now we're double what we need, and that's really not that high of a round count. So
right. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, and also as you say, I will say we always say running guns. Very few people are running at a running gun. Most people are walking, they're hiking, they may run, jog a downhill, but most of it it's just a walk. So even if you're not, you say, well, I'm not a runner. Can you walk for 6 or 7 miles with gear? If you answer yes to that, then go and sign up for one and do it. And if you can't, well, sign up anyways, because you can walk and you can find a tree stump to sit on and rest your feet for a couple minutes and then get back up and
Sit at the
go
stages.
further.
Yeah, sit at the
Yeah.
stages. Just stop and take a break. Get
Yeah.
you a drink of water. So,
Yeah. So don't think that like, oh, I can't. The terrain really isn't bad. There's one good hill, the Soul Crusher is what I call it, because it just kept going up and up and up. It's really, that's like the worst of it, and that's not that bad.
So this year you're actually going to go up a different route of the Soul Crusher, which is going to be less soul crushing, because the whole problem with the Soul Crusher was that you could see it, right? Like I had so many people tell me they got to the top of the opposite hill, which is a steep downhill, and then you could see it. You'd be like, surely we're not walking all the way over there, and it's a mile of uphill. Like it's just crap. So you're going up a different route, but then you come down that part and then go up the steep section, which is very short and very steep. So I don't know if it's better this year or worse, but it's different.
And it's not that bad, and it's hilly out there, but there's certainly worse courses. And
yeah, it's 189 feet of elevation change.
Yeah, that's I think we get about that much. We do that about that much at Guardian and 4 miles. So yeah, sign up if you haven't. If you have questions, reach out to Tiger, reach out to me, or whoever. I can point you to Tiger. I can answer questions, and if I don't know, I'll find the answers for you. But yeah, please let us know if you got anything. But definitely sign up for that, and hopefully we'll have an after action after the match is over, and we'll get Mike, maybe we'll get John Hutt on, and Mark will get back on, and Tiger. We'll kind of round table from competitors. I probably won't talk much. I'll just kind of lead it, and we'll get from the match director's perspective and all that. So
yeah. And one other thing, just because I tell everybody that I'm going to do this, we're going to do a quick shout out to sponsors. I'm not going to list them all because holy crap, have people been generous to this match. Primary is Primer & Co. They're doing all the shirts. That's Mr. Dixon's wife there, Mary's company. We've got everything from ABS, Journeyman Bladesmith, sending a couple of knives. Night Force is sending some scopes. Proof has sent some certs. T-Back has sent some certs. Smoke Composites, if you're looking to lighten that couple of ounces so that you can do the thing that we were talking about earlier, that they're the best. Couple of steel companies, Crate, Bluegrass Targets. All of this is on the Facebook page, the Instagram page. Look them up. Give them a shout out, buy their stuff, because we don't really have any crappy gear sponsors. If you buy any of their products, you're gonna be happy with what you got. So look them up. I think we've got $25,000 to $30,000 on the prize table this year. It's kind of unreal. I always feel like it's like a little match, and then I look at my prize table numbers and I'm like, oh, maybe it's not that little anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, Tiger
I just
always has
shot-
a great prize table, and I don't shoot matches for that, but it is nice to show up when there is a nice prize table. I mean, you got
Oh,
anything else to add here, Mark?
No, I was just showing out Vortex. Vortex is one of your sponsors too, right? They've
Vortex
been good
is
to you
sending-
from the beginning. That's why I wanted to mention them.
Yeah.
yeah.
They've always
Actually,
been in
all
your
the
matches.
companies that have been mentioned have been sponsoring me for years. They really support the shooting sports. That's another reason to support them. Like they really do put their money into the shooters. Yeah, Vortex. Actually, I just got their products yesterday or today. They sent some real nice Spark Solar red dots. And
Those are nice. I've got one
yeah, I've got one too.
from a prize table. I mean, there you go. Find a prize table that doesn't have Vortex on it. Like you'd be
Right.
hard pressed.
Yeah, and they and and anything, of course they have the legendary warranty. And those guys are just is I actually Wes, he called them. He'd had a gun go down in a match and needed one for a match the next weekend. He had a scope go down. And it was totally his fault. He fell off of a wall and landed on it. Like it's not like it was they literally were like, "Hey, go to Academy and buy one, ship us yours back with the receipt, and we will reimburse you the money." And he did. Like he went to Academy the next day, bought a Vortex, whatever, and they sent him the money back. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's customer service on a whole nother level.
Yep, that's not the first time I've heard of like a competitor calling, "Hey, this died on me today. I've got this match next week in 5 days, and Vortex has done something similar. Go to this
Right.
store, we'll have one ready for you, or ship it, and I mean, so yeah, their warranty is awesome. You don't want to ever have to use it, but as Tiger said, it's not for lack of a quality product that you have to use it. We're just
Right.
like what we do is tough on equipment, and like that, yeah, good scopes go down as well. So
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, like in Night Force has a similar warranty. They're on the prize table. And if anybody ever says Night Force is a low, well, I've had FUDs say that, but that
I've drooled over a Night Force or two. I'm a poors. I can't afford that, but one day maybe I'll get a prize table. Pick up. That's how I get all my nice gear. All right.
That's right. Me too.
All right, well, we're going to sign off here, you guys. Thanks for listening. And like you said, if you have any questions, let us know. So have a good one. Bye.